So yeah, I've struggled with this myself, and I brought this up a fair few times on other videos, but it is a strange phenomena to me watching this happen as an American. The oddly, this it's one particular subset of people that seem to be encouraging a nation of renters. It isn't me. I would love to see all the houses in my neighborhood be owned by homeowners and younger people having families and so on. But that's not the case. Most of my entire neighborhood are renters now. Almost the entire neighborhood. So I don't understand it. Where this comes from, this idea that, well, we want to have people voting for lower taxes, but in the meantime, we want them to be a nation of renters and we don't want them to own any part of the country that we told is there. We told them is theirs. I don't get it. And to your point that, yeah, a lot of people who are renters when they're younger, right, they don't fully understand taxes, but then they buy a house, right? Let's say when they're 21, they buy their first house. There's only kind of one generation that really kind of did that. Most other generations are not buying houses at 21 in mass, right? And what you would do is then you started learning about property taxes, and you started learning about house maintenance and upkeep and mowing the lawn and on and on and on. Everything that was involved in owning a house. Because it wasn't just, the house payment, it was everything else that, everything else that went along with ownership. In other words, total cost of ownership. And that's how young people began to understand how this would work. And it's also how you got a lot of valuations on houses. And this is, for whatever reason, that's gone completely out the window. I have like probably a dozen videos where I openly criticize the fucking rental bros with like, dude, you guys are only figuring payments. You're not figuring cost of ownership on all of that. You're trying to dump all the cost of ownership onto a tenant who it's not his. Like, what does he give a shit? What do they care about it? Like, this is the problem with this. It's just like a bunch of people who go buy cars based on they can afford the payment, not the car. They have no business buying the car, but they can afford the car payment, and it's really terrible. It's a terrible way to live. It's a terrible way to live, and it will make you poor very quickly. I know of what I speak, man. I've had huge car payments in my lifetime. I don't have any car payments as a result of that, and so yeah, it's just stuff that you kind of learn, and that's what people used to learn, is that when they started owning houses, they would start voting no on a lot of shit. They'd go, oh no, hey, I'm not voting for that. Look, hey, why can't you guys live? Why can't your school levy live within a budget? We just increased all the levies 2 years ago. You guys can learn to live within a fucking budget, okay? You can cut out some of your stupid programs, drag queen, story tower, and shit like that. You can cut all those programs out and stop paying for all that goofy shit, and then you'll have money to run your schools, as an example, right? And to your point in the other comment that I saw that was right below that was about the founders encouraging people. Well, yeah, the reason why you were able to vote when you were a landowner, right? The reason why it's not the flex that a lot of people think it is. I've seen a lot of Gen Xers do this too. They're like, only landowners should vote. And it's like, that's not quite the flex you think it was, because back then, how did you become a landowner in 1800? Any ideas? I'll tell you how you did it. You went about 5-10 miles west, and you just said, nobody's here, I'm going to take this. It's mine. That's how you became a landowner. Well, we can't really do that. I did an entire video on that, in fact, where I talked about we're all out of west, right? Like, there's no more west to go to. And it's creating a problem because now there isn't the same type of opportunities there was back then. It's not the same kind of thing. So, and then, of course, on top of that, you've got this one particular demographic of people that are hell-bent on turning the country into a nation of renters. And I'm absolutely mystified why we think that going down that road is a good idea. I've been asking it for, not a day goes by I don't ask myself that question. Like, why on earth are all you boomers buying up all these starter homes and turning them into rental properties and then jacking the rents up to the point where people cannot afford them anymore? They certainly can't afford to have kids. And then you're expecting these people to take care of you in your old age when you're shitting yourself and pissing yourself. I got to tell you, as a Gen Xer, if the phone rings, from my boomer parents and they say, come help me, my answer is going to be no. No, you have plenty of people. You can learn to speak whatever language the illegals are speaking, and they can change your diapers because I'm not doing it. Why should I? You didn't endear me to you at all, and you certainly haven't really been much of a help. And by the way, I'm not alone on this. There's like millions of other Gen Xers and Millennials and Zoomers that are right there, and they're not going to do any of that shit for these people because why should they, right? I mean, so I'm not trying to get into a rant on that, but it's like, because I can self-start on that topic, but it's like, dude, like it's really a problem. And yeah, I wonder, I'm with you. I don't know why it is that we have a nation of people that have decided that we want to create a bunch of renters and then somehow think that those renters are going to not vote for higher taxes and more shit, or what they could think of as free shit, even though there's no such thing as free. Don't know. Good question, though.